Alright, what we've been working on here today is pop bumper. We removed the protective mylar in which it ripped the paint up. Most of the graphics were missing previously, and we have some pictures that we'll post. Took the cheap masking tape that you want to kind of, like I said, doesn't stick really good because you want to peel this back up and peel sections out. Dollar store, I think it was 99 cents. Actually, it might have been 85 cents on sale for some weird reason. But back masked everything. And lay that down since we can let it roll across the table because it's not on fire. I'm just holding it for quitting smoking purposes. Back mask everything. Use different shapes. You have tons and tons of different shapes. Normally, I actually have a set of plastic, but I found some washers and so forth to help draw around, make radiuses, copy the lines. Sawzall blade. Be surprised how far you can bend one of these till you break it, but generally for straight edges, masking, cutting down the lines to the points. I use from the very first video one of these Sharpie pens, fine lines. Use this in the edge to draw, make the straight edges. I built my gap just a touch bigger than what's needed because I want to make sure I have enough black. There's multiple parts around the play field here where all these patterns replace, and that's where I will make my stencils like I did originally in the cabinet. I will trace those and make perfect circles, come back, and I will use those for laying down and doing one final spray one way and then back the other way. Any places these colors cross one another, so I have them for later reference and coming back and doing repairs. I'm doing a repair of the black. I had previously said these black lines are more important than this big color out here because we're going to come back in and fill these, but we need something to work with, and these black lines are very important. I cut everything out, made it a little bigger. Down here is missing some diamonds and things on the king's head. I took back here and I took my utility knife and I cut a few, pyramids for the crown. I cut a few of these out and I laid these in to keep those areas kind of freed up from paint. And to give me a visual marker of what should have been there. And I'm going to back mask this all off. When you cut this out with your utility knife, this little bit here, I bet you I've been pissing around for an hour and a half, nearly 2 hours, because you won't get it right first shot all the time. I had issues with the X-Acto knife, the blade, and you want to push very, very lightly and back it with your hand. Take your time. The higher the point you have on this blade, the easier it's going to be for you to follow your design. If you have it laid down at an angle like this, it's going to drag in and cut, and it's just going to go in a straight line like the blade. Cut off the tip, real light pressure. And I'm going to take and back mask this area here. And like I said, work it in small areas. I'm trying to do the black line repairs at the moment. I'm going to mask this off with some more paper, and then I'm going to spray my black on top of this, and shortly I'll take it and uncover it, and everybody will be able to see how we replaced our black lines. They won't be absolutely perfect. They're going to be a little bit broader because, again, I mentioned about these different size tapes. This was donated by Melissa for the very fine lines. This is a 3M fine line tape, and this is used for painting graphics, flames. Anybody at Airbrushes has this on hand, about 15 bucks. And this will come into play here a little bit later. We'll use these two different sizes, come back through and mask our blacks out, and then we'll be able to get back into making our regular decals and putting them on top and around everything for to keep our different colors out of these areas here. Some of it we can just back mask with paper. Others we'll have to use our decals for. And we'll eventually start building all these colors back out in this area here is where I decided to work for some reason, I suppose because it had the most damage, and wanted to show how bad the playfield can be tore up and you can still get it back the way it should be. So I'll join you in a few minutes after I get things taped up and get some paint on this. Thank you. All right, we're back. We peeled the paper back and peeled up all the little pieces of tape we used that we cut through. And you can see we got our black back in here, the diamond, or part of our circles are returned, our edges and circles here, here. It's a lot of work. I'm not going to lie to anybody about it. And if you wonder why when you get an area like this repaired, sometimes they'll charge you up to $200. This is why. I pissed around for an hour and a half or so to get this laid out, to get this black line back in. And I still have, down this way, I have to repair these black edges yet, but you got to do it in small sections. That's why I said sometimes work here and work down at another area of the field where you have damage. And now that we have these blacks in, this isn't dry yet, so I actually can't stick this to it. This is where these different size tapes come in handy. Some of them will be identical in size, and what will happen, these will almost become permanent to the end of your paint job. And we have the larger stuff for the bigger lines too. And the way this will work is, on top of our black, this will be put down. This is a little narrow for the smaller lines. I have one here, it's a little bigger. This will be put on top of this black when it's dried, and you will make a real nice radius of that. And if it's a little off, you really won't notice it, but you want to be as identical, as smooth as this line here. And it's a little wider because it's damaged. But the important thing is, if you notice, mine are just a touch bit broader. Over here where this insert is, you won't see this underneath this pop bumper. And it's a lot of work underneath these pop bumpers for once everything's down. I'm going to put clear Mylar protectors back on top of these areas when I'm done. This will probably end up being a personal machine by the time all these videos are done and everything. But I will put these lines down on top of here and on top of there. And when I make my stencils will lap and they will lay right on the edge of this. And I'll go through and I'll do only yellow, then only the green, because I will backmask all these other areas, leave this piece of tape down, and I will do my backmasking on top of this, whether it be this one here or this fine line. When you tape these off, you will be taking your masking tape, or however you prefer to do it. I like to use masking tape. It's easy and it's quick. I will put that down, and this stuff's pretty tough stuff. It's a little bit of a bitch to cut, even with an X-Acto knife. So I will do all my artwork and lap it on top of here to protect it. When I paint this area in, or this yellow, I'll have these lines down on top of here, protect that black line. And I will never remove these black lines. These will stay until everything on this play field is absolutely finished. If you damage one of them, pull it up. Occasionally, you're working around, you might have where a color will bleed out or over. I have a small spot here, hurrying around it. It's a teeny tiny little white spot here, where you can see the wood down the tip of my blade. I will touch that up with a tiny little brush. That is where, when I was peeling everything out, I didn't get the little piece of tape up. You'll have these things, you just have to go back and correct them. Like I said, it's a game of time. Probably what we'll do here in the next little video, or maybe I'll just go ahead and catch this up. You can see here I painted up into this. I just need to see what is in here. Here's where I cut out my paper diamond. I will continue this black line through here and here. And this here is a square point. I will make these lines up here, replace them, get everything in place. And I will go back through And it's going to take some time. I'll show you in these videos. I have a habit of rambling on and emphasizing on things. But we'll go through, we'll backmask all these with our tapes, and we'll do one color at a time. It may the next one I do here will be this green. And then while I'm doing this green, this line here is nothing wrong with this line. I'll take this fine tape and I will cover that black line. All these little black lines that are good, cover them now in the area you're working in. Now use covering them out here and putting tape down on top of them, ripping them loose. Just do the area you're doing. Once that's repaired, come in a little bit from it, backmask it off so that nothing else ever gets over onto that area. Then we'll work our way down through and correct things. But like I said originally, these black lines are important. This is your detail of everything you have up here on this play field. This color here, we already know just by the artwork I did on the outside of the cabinet, this is a large area. Very easy to fix and repair this. You will get small areas, which I haven't removed these yet, and I told everybody I would show you how to remove these, but I was in haste to make a video so I could show you what's going on. Here you got a little bit of bleed. That doesn't matter. It's over in here. That's going to take a color. Once we fine line all this off with our smaller tapes, and you aren't going to get these absolutely perfect. You will be bitching and carrying on. It'll take several attempts, and this tape you can peel it back up, stick it back down. It has a mild amount of sticky to it, and it flexes. You can take, let me find the end of this stuff. You can take this tape and it will stretch and curve and twist however you need it to be. And it'll pull right back up. That I ripped on a little too hard. But to give you an idea, you'll be able to take this tape and make all your turns. And the narrower the tape is, the easier it'll be. This is a little bit big. Get it stuck down to get started. If you want to protect these lines, you can use this to do it. You can go around it like that. And then take your masking tape. Once we get all of our black lines down, like I'm saying, go like that. Like that up onto there. If you take this fine line tape, go all the way around, protect your black edge, you can come back through and paint that area. When you're done, just peel it up out of the way if you wish. And for the most part, this is 3M, and it's fine line. It's not cheap. You can take this and it'll re-stick again. But I wanted to show you a little bit to help you get moving along. Some of you may not have this kind of damage. Some of you just may want to put color down. If you're just light prepping, that's a piece of my DA paper, and it's 320. Generally, a light stuff like that, and it won't even tear up your black. You've seen I just rubbed over it. It just cleans the surface of it. This paint is mils thick, but you can use this tape, get back through, back mask your stuff, paint that area. And again, if you already have this down on top of your lines, or this, you can use either one. I prefer to use this, and I'll double tape, and it costs me like twice the money. You can use the smaller stuff, put it on the line, leave it permanent. If we had the smaller lines, let's see, over here in the king's face. It doesn't look like a whole awful lot. If I can get a hold of it. There's that point up on the edge of his nose. Other than, hopefully, the color shows up. If you have small detail work and you want to protect your black, this small tape's what you want to use. You pull it through wherever you need to cut it, and leave it down. You can back mask these areas with the fine, different sizes, your black to protect your black, and the rest of it's just color fill. And we've done it with the decals on, like I said, on the head of the cabinet. And again, you can use this 3M. Once you're done, if you just want to fill in the color, this stuff is rather pliable. You can put it down, stretch it around however you need it. And if you, again, my blade's a little dull, been carving at it, and this stuff's rather tough. But you'll be able to cut into this with your X-Acto knife up on your edges and corners. And the general technique for cutting this is, wherever you have it, you actually want to lay it down flat and then pull up, and then you get a nice sharp edge like here. But for those who want to get a jump on things and get rolling along, those are your techniques that you use. And always cover your play field as much as possible. Any place there's something like this here, like I left these in. If you have to go into the medicine cabinet, get a cotton ball, stick a cotton ball in there to protect getting paint down in here. If you get a little on the upper edges of these metals and things, it will never hurt them. Pack that full of a cotton ball, come back through and pick it out later when you're done. For those who can't, don't have plugs and plastic inserts, there's all kinds of things out there. You can rate a Napa up. They have inserts for firewalls and things, the rubber and the plastic, little drop-ins. Generally, you put things on like that there. Generally, I'll shove a cotton ball in. At the moment, that's about it. I'm probably confusing more people than not so much helping a few, but I think you get the idea. I get rambling along trying to push people ahead, but the whole goal of things here is to get these black lines in. These black lines let you know what area you're painting, and you can use anything. Here's a picture of that Sawzall blade. If you have to, lay it down, tape it, which I'm probably screwing with the camera. I have an overhead light here. Anything you can see through this tape, it's light. Draw it out with that, I have my Sharpie pen. Draw everything out, both edges inside and out. That way you can see real well what you're cutting. And the better it is, the easier it is going to be for you to cut. Next video I'll probably drop back here and I'll show you how I repaired all of this, and maybe we can paint a smaller area to try to get everybody up to speed and going. But I guess that's it for now. So thank you. Watch the videos. If you have some comments or things, questions, I had very few people ask me questions. I'm either explaining things really well or confusing the hell out of people and they're afraid to ask. So ask questions. Questions, if you get an answer to it, that means you've gained a little knowledge. So thank you for watching the videos, and leave your comments, please.